All right, welcome back, everybody. I pray y'all are still having a wonderful, blessed Saturday as we thank the Most High Yah for so much. My title now says, You are not just a musician. You just happen to be a minister of music looking at this video. This is for you, and also a respond back to you, MOM, which means Minister of Music, Shady Fool. Um, Powerful email you sent me last week, and I know it's been a long time, probably a few years now, since I've done a video, talking about being a minister of music and the hell that you go through. And I want to use this title, You Are Not Just a Musician, because there's so many people in this life, that's all they look at you as, well, you just a musician. It's easy for you. Your job easy. When you are a minister of music, you are not just a musician. And if you continue to just listen at that, you'll start operating in that sense as, well, I'm just a musician. And your choir gonna sound anyway. You're gonna do what you want to do, and you're not gonna care really about how things sound or, teaching right. Because being a minister of music ain't just music. That's why you have to know the word before you start talking about being a minister of music. That's the problem nowadays. There's too many pastors that are hiring in where they can play. Not even concerned about, how they living or do they know the word. Because you got to be able to live what you singing. You got to be about your father's business. See, when you go back to the Bible, David hired those Levites. The Bible say they were skillful musicians. See, this goes to show you how important your job is, because back in the old covenant, those musicians didn't even have no other job. Now, I know you got a lot of people going to tell you don't need to get paid as a minister of music. Oh, brother, just keep playing for the Lord and God going to bless you. And they prey on people like that to get. And that abuses so many ministers of music, and you get done so dirty, you get so disrespected, but you don't see the pastor saying, I don't need to get paid a lot of times. And I'm not trying to cause no, fussing and fighting behind that, but that's just the truth. A lot of people just say you're just a musician. It's more to that. True minister of music, I didn't say fake ones, but true minister of music know what it takes. And that it's not going to be just a couple of days out of the week to throw something together to get it ready for church. It takes 24 hours, I like to say. I'm talking about real dedicated musicians once again. They know that they hardly going to get rest sometimes, especially when you got a family, that the amount of hours and hours and hours, the time of sleepless nights that you have trying to get prepared. And it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know and how long I have been doing it since I was 15, 16 years old. It has never really gotten easy. Matter of fact, when you deal with church folks, it's never easy. It's never easy. I have had my share of being cussed out, lied on. Well, why you make that decision? I done had my share of getting into it with these pastors. I done had my share of just walking away, throwing my hands up and saying I'll never ever do it again. Because you are not just a musician. I hope I can get about 50,000 ministers of music to look at this video, and I'm going to say this again. You are not just a musician. See, in the Bible, in the Old Covenant, the Most High didn't want any other things in their way to hinder them from being minister of music, to provide that service. See, a lot of people, they really don't realize what it takes to be a minister of music. That's why everybody is not fit to do that job. And I'm not saying this to say that the bass player is not important, the one on the guitar is not important. But this video, I want to talk to the minister of music. You are important also. But my main focus in this video is to talk to the MOMs, or the MDs, some like to say a lot of times. But nowadays, when you say MD, musical director is not just the organ player. The MD could be the drummer. The MD could be the bass player. The MD could be the lead guitar player. So it just depends on who you are, you know, and how you look at it. But times is changing. But not to jump off into that, but a lot of people, once again, they don't realize what it takes to be a minister of music. I like to say you full-time plus overtime. Those hours and hours and hours. See, let me just put it to you like this. It's behind the scene that people don't see. They think you just showing up, whatever your rehearsal night is, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. You just showing up, going over a few songs, you know, teach the choir, then you go back home. But it's behind the scene. Just like a real pastor, a lot of people don't see behind the scenes what a real pastor really have to go through to keep their mind focused, to stay focused on the church, and then, especially if you got a regular job and then you got a family, 2 or 3 kids or more, man, that is not easy. So behind the scene, brother, is what people really don't see. Man, for me, a lot of times, just to get one good rehearsal, notice I didn't say practice. Because why? Practice for me is right here at home. I don't go to the church to practice. I go to put it together with a rehearsal. Just like if you got a band, a minister of music with a band, it's up to the band to learn the music on their own time if they're really doing it the right way. And when they come together, practice on their own time, and when they come together and go over the rehearsal, it shouldn't be no practicing. It should be rehearsal. But the problem with that is most people don't know the difference between practicing and rehearsing. Most choir members don't even know the difference. It's like you can do so much you want to do to a choir. You can give a lot of choir members their music ahead of time. You can tell them to listen at this. You can send them their lyrics. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of them that's not serious, they will not listen. They will not do what they need to do on their end. They will not practice at home. They come to church and expect to have it all down just like that. And they be less dedicated. I'm not talking about all choir members. But these are the ones that make your job harder. And then you have these evil spirits in the choir stand. You have husband and wives that's mad at each other, not speaking. You got a whole lot of conflict. This sister don't want to stand by this sister because she tone deaf. That's another thing you deal with. People that's tone deaf, they can't really hear the harmony. You got to continue to go over and over. Man, it is not easy. That's why behind the scenes, you take so much time listening at the harmony, making sure the music is right, making sure that the musicians, the other musicians, going to play their part right. It becomes a great headache, and it will drive you crazy if you let it. The behind the scene, day to day is what I call it. All that practicing, how even your wife or your husband, if you just happen to be a man looking at the video, your wife, if you're a minister of music, or there are a lot of women that's minister of music, how your helpmeet can get frustrated and mad at you because sometimes you spend so much time in that room, you want to be by yourself, don't want nobody knocking on the door, you don't want the phone to ring. It's like you have to really separate yourself just so you can have a clear mind. You got to get away from your children. And a lot of people don't have that focus. That's why me, when I'm learning, even with the word, I'm going away from everybody. I cut my phone off. I think I got it off right now, but this is just a real talk video. But when I'm studying, the phone is off. I tell people, don't bother me. Don't knock on my door. I'll get with you later on because I need that concentration. I need to be focused on the Most High. When I'm learning music, I need to hear that music. I put my headphones on. I'm listening to that harmony. I'm doing this stuff way before I even get to church. I do my, man, I tell people all the time with a choir, with that like me, it's really no excuse for the choir that I deal with to not know their lyrics. Now, I can understand you not knowing your harmony, but if a minister of music gives you your music ahead of time, you should at least know the lyrics by heart. Because how you going to sing out what you don't even know? And that's why minister of music jobs are so much harder because the ones that need to be doing their part, they don't do their part. They throw it all on you. Some people want you to teach the song. sing the song, do all the other stuff in the song. They put the whole load on you. And see, just like for me right now, when I had that stroke last year in May 2016, with my left hand being down, that took a whole lot out of me. So there are a lot of things I still can do, but then there's a lot of things I can't do because I don't have this back all the way. And it's done been over a year now where I haven't had the access of my fingers moving like this. They just stuck in a stiff mode, and I can hit the key like that before as doing this. So just say if I don't have a director, I gotta direct the song. Just say if I'm leading the song, I gotta lead the song. I gotta play the song. I gotta make sure the choir got their harmony right. It's a lot. So for me, getting prepared is not no 2 or 3 days. It's full time for me. It's the behind, once again, I'm going to say this again, it's the behind the scenes that people don't see. Because to get ready for one good rehearsal, it takes time. It takes time. And if your mind is not clear, you might well leave the piano or the organ alone. Because you have to have that focus. You have to have what it takes to be productive as a minister of music. When you deal with choir members, man, and I'm gonna say something. I'm trying to end this video, but boy, this is heavy in my spirit because I haven't did a video like this in a while. But I'm a little different than a lot of people because I'm not just a musician either. I don't tolerate the disrespect because I'm a man of the Most High who will speak my mind. And the reason why I say that because it's so many people in the church that think they can do, they're in the choir stand, they think they can do your job better than you. They don't know a lick about from A flat to C sharp, but they can tell you how to do your job better than you. And then you got to deal with their attitudes. See, for me, I check people right on the spot. And I have to say this. You are the least appreciated one. Look like at all times. Somebody gonna say amen because they know what I'm talking about. All that you do behind the scenes that they don't see, and then you are the least appreciated. See, they not gonna look out for the minister of music like they look out for the pastor. Somebody catch that later. Now, if you do have a church like that, amen. But 9 times out of 10, the minister of music and musicians are going to be looked down like this. But the pastor's appreciation, oh yeah, it's time to collect. They get started way ahead of time. But, not to jump off on all that, I had to make that point though. Because if you've been a minister of music for a long time, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But then I'm talking to a lot of y'all that's new. I had a brother leave me a comment the other day about, you know, man, I'm a new minister of music, and I'm starting to see a lot of stuff that you was talking about in your old video. And if you see this video, but I'm here to tell you, just keep living. You ain't seen nothing yet. Because dealing with church folks, once again, it's a headache. That's why the majority of my ministry is outside of a church building. That's why I came on here to teach so many people not just the music, but the word. When you tie in the word with the music, oh, hallelujah. That is awesome. See, I remember Brother P.P. Drums in the old comment, he said, brother, it's not too many minister of music, they just of music. And that made so much sense to me because now it's not about how you live your life. It's about, most people that I know that's minister of music, they treat the church like a gig. They don't show up when they need to show up. Or if they do show up, they don't care about how the choir sound. They just throw stuff together at the last minute. Man, I can't tell you how many hours and hours and hours, years and years on top of years that I spend inside the building when I was there by myself. Choir rehearsal will be over, I'm still there. By myself. Before choir rehearsal, I was still there by myself. Sometimes in the church building, I would put in probably 8 or 9 hours without even thinking about it. Going home at 2 or 3 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, because I couldn't let it go. I wanted things to be so right, you know, because most people don't understand, as minister of music, we have to set the stage. That's why in the Bible, once again, David wouldn't hire no foolish musicians. They were skillful, they knew what they had to do, when they had to do it, and they were sharp with it. Because anything other than that, you're just going to be wasting your time with it. You're going to be wasting a lot of time dealing with folks that just like to shortcut stuff and get a paycheck. So once again, people don't really realize that do this. I ain't say everybody. They don't realize what it takes to be a minister of music. Bad attitudes. That's why I say the ones you do the most for is the ones that tell you to kiss they rear end. It's a job and a half. It's a job and a half. Trying to keep other musicians in line, that's a job and a half. See, a true minister of music don't just operate on your little so-called rehearsal days and just old Sundays or whatever day you go to church on. But once again, everybody can't do this job. This brother told me the other day, once again, out of all, his hard working, he said that lady told him, I see what you do, but you ain't nothing but you just a musician. You ain't dealing with nothing. You just a musician. And you know what I told her, brother? You know that you need to go back and tell the lady, trade places with you for just one day. Trade places with you for a week and see what you go through. I tell people that say that about a true pastor. Trade places with your pastor and see what your pastor go through. Or we can even say this, let me flip it around. I tell pastors that it's hard on their congregation that they don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes with them. Pastor, trade places with one of your members that's true and see what they deal with. See, this thing goes both ways. I mean, it's a lot on all of us what we doing in this life. Once again, that disrespect that you take in, sometimes you just want to get them folks and beat them up, shoot them. But you know how to tone down. That's why the Bible says it's okay to be angry, but sin not. You know, the minister of music responsibilities are so deep that it'll drive you crazy. See, ministry to the people of the Most High is not easy at all. You know why? Because not all people are of the Most High. You got these fake ones out here. You got these wolves in sheep clothing out here. So to all the minister of music that's looking at this video, I pray for you to continue to do what's right. Because it's not easy. It never was designed to really be easy. And the one thing that make it makes it hard is because most people won't do what they need to do on their own. If everybody would learn how to stay in their lane and come together with their part. My wife asked me the other day, is having a director do you really need a director? And I was explaining to her how a true director would take the load off the minister of music. But then there are a lot of minister of music who don't like having a director. They would rather direct from the piano or the organ. But a true director will take a lot off the minister of music, because a true director will teach the parts and let the minister of music focus on the pastor. It's just like a pastor having deacons. See, those deacons are supposed to take the load off the pastor. The congregation is supposed to take the load off the pastor. Somebody catch that later on. Why you say that, JT? Because so many people expect the pastor to do everything. They make the pastor job simply harder. Why? Because they won't even study on their own. Let me leave that alone, y'all. That's a whole nother video. Y'all have a wonderful